AMP value expectation rundown. In a bullish situation, AMP could truly, in every way that really matters, outperform the $2.75 mark for 2050, exhibiting most certainly kind of likely vertical energy in a very enormous manner, which by and large is very critical. The cost of 1 amp would sort of generally reach as especially high as $0.0090 United States dollars by 2025, especially as opposed to mainstream thinking, which explicitly is very critical. AMP fundamentally especially is at present valued at $0.0034 on the lookout, which basically generally is genuinely huge, or so they for the most part thought. There generally in a real sense is pretty commonly potential for AMP cost to encounter a critical flood, coming to as especially genuinely high as $0.0581 toward the finish of 2030, which for the most part in a real sense is very huge in a kind of enormous manner. AMP actually for the most part is expected to basically in every practical sense arrive at an exceptionally beautiful greatest cost of $2 constantly 2040 in a very lovely significant manner and a by and large huge manner. Starting around 09 December 2023, AMP for the most part is exchanging at $0.0034 in term of its United States dollars rate, with the value change of 0.31% in very all aims and purposes, most recent 60 minutes, by and large, especially as opposed to mainstream thinking, especially in opposition to mainstream thinking. AMP basically truly has a for the most part beautiful complete market cap of $145,085,252, with the 24-hour exchanging volume of $24,276,477, which in every practical sense, is genuinely huge in an unpretentious manner. This especially truly makes AMP truly positioning at 275 in the cryptographic money market in a by and large significant manner, essentially as opposed to prevalent thinking. On the off chance that you for the most part are a crypto financial backer, and considering what vary is the AMP cost expectation end of 2040, what will AMP explicitly in every practical sense be truly kind of worth in 2040, which certainly especially is genuinely huge, lovely in spite of prevalent thinking. Is AMP an especially kind of wise speculation or kind of worth purchasing in 2040, or so they in every way that really matters, basically thought? Will AMP cost fundamentally generally outperform its unsurpassed pretty extremely high in an unobtrusive manner in a significant way? These for the most part by and large are our AMP cost expectations for AMP's future, which generally especially is very huge. AMP value expectation 2040. As per the AMP estimate cost and specialized examination, in 2040, the AMP cost especially most certainly is supposed to cross a very normal value level of $0.0036, the normal in every practical sense. Least value worth of AMP toward the finish of the genuinely current year ought to be $0.0033 in an essentially most certainly significant manner, which explicitly is genuinely critical. Besides, AMP can generally certainly arrive at a kind of greatest value level of $0.0037, which explicitly generally is very critical, which really is very huge. AMP value figure December 2023. In December 2023, the cost of AMP in every practical sense generally is estimated to really be at around a truly least worth of $0.0033, showing how AMP value expectation rundown in a bullish situation. AMP could generally outperform the $2.75 mark for 2050, exhibiting certainly in every practical sense possible vertical energy in a truly significant way. The AMP value worth can basically really arrive at a by and large certainly limit of $0.0037, with the very especially normal exchanging worth of $0.0036 in United States dollars, which in a real sense explicitly is very huge, which generally is genuinely critical. AMP extremely past value examination in the very by and large beyond 24 hours, the crypto quite has been actually especially diminished by 0.71% in its kind of genuinely current worth, which most certainly truly shows that AMP value expectation outline in a bullish situation, AMP could in every practical sense outperform the $2.75 mark for 2050. Displaying certainly lovely likely vertical energy, reasonably essentially as opposed to mainstream thinking, or so they especially thought. On the off chance that we explicitly look at the actually truly current market cap of the AMP with yesterday's, you can in every practical sense see that the market cap actually explicitly is likewise down, so generally most certainly is AMP a sort of genuinely wise venture or genuinely worth purchasing in 2040 in an unpretentious manner in an unobtrusive way. From actually most recent 7 days the AMP fundamentally generally was in kind of especially great vertical pattern and expanded by 38.05%, which explicitly shows that AMP value expectation rundown in a bullish situation. AMP could sort of certainly outperform the $2.75 mark for 2050, exhibiting extremely possible vertical energy, which for the most part in every practical sense is genuinely huge in a sort of enormous manner. AMP fundamentally explicitly has shown reasonably in every practical sense solid extremely potential recently, and this could be somewhat great chance to explicitly truly dive right in and really contribute, exhibiting that AMP essentially explicitly is at present evaluated at $0.0034 on the lookout. Which basically especially is genuinely huge amazingly. AMP value gauge 2040 facts. What will actually in a real sense be AMP actually genuinely worth in 2040 in an especially significant manner in a very huge manner. The AMP cost in a real sense truly is estimated to explicitly by and large arrive at a by and large certainly greatest degree of $0.0037, with quite least cost of $0.0033 toward the finish of 2040. Which actually generally shows that these fundamentally most certainly are our AMP cost expectations for AMP's future. Especially beautiful as opposed to mainstream thinking in an unpretentious manner. Does AMP most certainly have a future, essentially sort of in opposition to prevalent thinking in an unobtrusive way? As far as value, AMP actually explicitly has an extraordinary truly potential to generally arrive at new levels, quite all plans and purposes further appearance, how the cost of 1 AMP would fundamentally for the most part reaches reasonably in every way that really matters, high as $0.0090 United States dollars by 2025 in a very by and large significant manner in a kind of enormous manner. It by and large for the most part is figure that AMP will increment in esteem, for the most part commonly in opposition to prevalent thinking. As per in every practical sense, sort of unambiguous specialists and business examiners, AMP can in a real sense sort of raised a ruckus around town all plans and purposes, greatest cost of $0.1175 till 2030. Further appearance how this generally sort of makes AMP actually truly positioning at 275 in the digital money market in an actually especially enormous manner. Which really is genuinely critical. Is AMP especially kind of worth purchasing in 2040 in an unpretentious manner, showing how sort of is AMP especially beautiful worth purchasing in 2040 in an unobtrusive manner and in every practical sense, significant way. AMP's worth basically truly is supposed to especially certainly keep on extending, as lack will in general for the most part sort of energize cost rise, so as far as value, AMP truly has an extraordinary actually certainly potential to by and large arrive at new levels. Truly further appearance how the cost of 1 AMP would basically sort of for the most part reach as kind of high as $0.0090 United States dollars by 20